Hello, my beautiful friends. Happy Monday. It is so windy out here in the Windy City, so hope you're staying safe and warm and bundled and all those wonderful things this morning. I do not wake up super early as of late, but today I did, and it was so nice. It's one of those things you don't really ever regret, right? But we are changing it up. So this morning we have this really nice opportunity to chill out, stretch, and just enjoy our bodies and our breath for a really lovely, patient amount of time. So we have 30-45 minutes to just chill out and stretch, and I'm so happy that you're able to do that with me. So let's go ahead and get started here. Just with this left leg crossed in front of right, so nice and easy, whatever feels comfortable to you is perfect. And let your hands just relax down on your lap. Take a moment here, close down your eyes, empty out your lungs. Take a full deep inhale, breathe deep, lengthen tall. Exhale, start to soften your face, your jaw, your neck, your shoulders down away from your ears. Do that again, full deep inhale. And long, slow exhale. And then continue with those breaths on your own. Slow, deep inhale. Even slower on your exhale. Feel as you start to find this rhythm of your breath, that with every exhale you're able to start to soften your face, soften your sort of being here, so that any hardness, any stress starts to gently roll off your shoulders. Breath is one of those things that we can always practice. It's something that's automatic, of course. But if we can actually use it, take advantage of it, and let it help us slow things down and give us a little bit more patience, a little bit more ease, and a little bit more calm in our life. Nice and slow. Full deep inhale. Long, slow exhale. Do that once again. Full deep inhale. Long, slow exhale. So nice. Keeping your chin level with the floor. Slowly look past your right shoulder. You can keep your eyes closed, of course. And as you move your chin closer and closer toward your right shoulder, facing that right hand side, start to feel the stretch run down the left side of your neck. Take a breath here. Inhale, get taller, lengthen out through your crown. Exhale it out. One more time, inhale. Notice if your shoulders have come with, keep them square to the front of your space. On your exhale, so you can just move your chin a little bit more, maybe past your right shoulder, not forcing anything at all, just getting that stretch through the left side of your neck. On your next inhale, tilt your chin upward. And then on your exhale, tuck your chin inward. One more time, tilt your chin upward. Stretch running more toward the front, toward your throat. And on your exhale, tilt your chin in toward your chest. That stretch starting to run through the back side, the left side of your neck. Your next inhale, return to neutral. And then bring your face back to your original position, facing the front of your space. Take a breath here, inhale. Get a little bit taller. See if you can just really find that rhythm, that groove of your calm, easy breath. Exhale it out. So good. Your next inhale, start to move your chin over your left shoulder. Take your time. The second side sometimes feels like you have those lingering feelings from the first side. So spend a little bit of time, breath, have patience as your body responds to this stretch. The stretch now running down the right side of your neck, your throat. Take 2 breaths here. Inhale, lengthen tall, breathe deep. And exhale it out. One more time. Inhale, breathe deep. Exhale, let go. See if any of those lingering sensations from the first side start to leave your body. Drawing focus now to this stretch, right side of your neck. On your next inhale, take a tilt of your chin upwards. See how that stretch changes closer toward the front of your throat. Exhale, you start to gently bring your chin in toward your left collarbone. One more time then. Inhale, tilt your chin upward. Feels good, that stretch running down the right side. And exhale, gently. Tuck your chin in down toward your left collarbone. Your next inhale, bring your chin back into that neutral space. And then gently return your face back to the front of your space. Good. On your next inhale, open your eyes and gently lean back. Let's swap out these legs here. So your right leg now crossed in front of your left. Feels like we have a nice little stretch running down both sides of your neck. We'll just take it into a couple circles. So drop your head over to your right shoulder. Tuck your chin in toward your chest. Let your head drop over to your left shoulder. And just like that in the half moon, tuck your chin down toward your chest. And return it back toward your right shoulder. Do that one more time. Tuck your chin in toward your chest. Head over your left shoulder. And last time, chin toward your chest. Head over your right shoulder. Good. Return your head back into neutral. I'll take just a couple of shoulder circles here just to wake up and maybe loosen up any tension, tightness that's running down through our shoulders, through our chest. It's interesting, everything is kind of connected here. And even if it's one of those things where you work out all the time and you feel maybe tense or tight or whatever it is through your bodies, sometimes it's just nice tapping in also. I just notice, at least for myself, kind of how I feel in general. It's not even a physical, sort of like I've done all this like strength workout or whatever workout. Sometimes it's just how you feel, and that sounds very like hippy-dippy type of stuff. But truly, like if you're doing things that you find enjoyment from, or you're doing things that do not give you joy, I think that all manifests itself in your body. So let's just take a couple of these. This feels good just for a little bit of movement. It's almost like cat-cow when my arms are parallel to the floor and Here, let's see if we can focus on letting our shoulder blades separate and then squeeze, right? Separate and squeeze. And a perfect example of that is, for me at least, what I was experiencing was like kind of a lot of kind of underlying dull pain, right? Just underlying. And, I bike a ton, and my husband's super into mountain biking. And he was like, let's go, ride over the weekend. And so we did. And I think that stuff is just really scary for me. So I think the way my body responds to it, not just from the physical stress of like just trying to keep it together, but also the mental stress of just trying to keep it together, all of that's very I think tough on our bodies sometimes. So if, that's like very first world problems, but if there's something in your life that like maybe kind of comes up that you're like okay with, but maybe really you're not super comfortable with, that might show up in your body somehow, right? And it seems so subtle and you don't want to complain about it. I didn't want to complain about it. I still don't want to complain about it, but it's just something to notice, right? Something that makes you feel uncomfortable or unsafe or whatever it is, even in a very sort of minor and non-threatening way in the grand scheme of things, that might just show up on your body in some fashion. And it's just worthy of taking note, right? And then you can decide, of course, whether you want to continue to pursue that activity, mountain biking, which scares me so much, or you do something about it and maybe ease off or back off or whatever it is, right? So it's just these nice observations, I think, that help us understand what our bodies are feeling sometimes. Okay, anyway, let's take these hands behind us, interlace your fingers, and as you push your knuckles down, start to lift up tall through your chest and draw your shoulders back. Your knuckles might hit the floor like mine do, and then maybe you bring your knuckles farther back and think of again pushing your chest up toward the ceiling. Draw your shoulders back so you feel that very deliberate, tremendous squeeze of your shoulder blades. And then just hang out right here. Sometimes we spend a lot of time just on the computer or even watching TV. We can stay there for like hours on end. So if we can find a time and some willingness to stay in this very deliberate, open position, maybe we can counteract some of that. One more breath. Inhale, let your neck be neutral, relaxed, whatever it is. Exhale, draw your shoulders back, open your chest. So nice. Gently, let's release from that. Shake loose your hands. And we're going to work on a little bit of finger stuff here. Let's change the seated position into a kneeling position though, so we get a little bit more of a different, resting position for our legs, ankle mobility, all that wonderful stuff. Take your palms and then press your fingers down toward your palms, slide your fingers up into a tight curl and straighten them out. This is something that's very beneficial and helpful for me, and I like doing them. You can take them out of your practice, out of your bouldering, out for a break just in life in general, just for these finger curls. And even if you don't spend a ton of time, climbing or doing any of this sort of crimpy motion, I think it's nice just to check in if there's any stiffness in your joints. This is really telling. And not only is it telling, but it helps us, hopefully, especially if it's quite stiff, hopefully helps us bring back a bit of range of motion without too much really pain or effort on our part, right? These are finger curls, right? So it's pretty effortless, not super time consuming, but very revealing. All right, after your next one where your fingers are completely straight, let's go the other direction. So you're going from straight fingers into a tight curl. And see if you can get your finger pads to touch your palms as closely to the top of your palms as possible. So closer to kind of where your calluses would form. Yep. And notice if, like, this is basically the same movement. Notice if this is more challenging or less challenging than going that first direction, right? Which is the fold of your fingers and sliding up your palms. Good. We'll do a few more here. And for me, at least, I feel a little bit of work in my forearms as well. All right, the next time your fingers are straight, just give me a couple of flicks. Perfect. And then our next bit, let's take a little bit of time to work on our wrists. So just pressing your hands together in prayer position, kind of push out. I generally do not love it for prayer position. I see all these elbows out. I think it's a lot of like kind of stress in our shoulders. But for this particular exercise to work on wrists, go ahead and press into your, again, where the calluses are basically, and then see if you can give yourself a little bit of pressure for some wrist extension. Good. And then from here, gently let go. We'll go tops of hands toward each other, and then drop your elbows down. See if you can let your shoulders relax just a little bit more. So from this place, I'm kind of just pushing against also kind of the mid place of my palm, the backs of my hands, as opposed to like my wrist proper. And then from here, just give it a whirl, just kind of this forward back movement, if that is helpful or if it reveals any sort of weird pain. And I thought of one that we haven't done in a very, very long time. All right, from here, you can just gently shake it loose, do a couple of flicks of your fingers. We'll take again these tops of our hands, bring them toward each other, and let's go right hand wrist over left hand wrist. Interlace your fingers, right? Palm on palm action. From here, let's scoop it in and then scoop it out. Ooh! So, you might be like me. I have not done this in a long, long time. This, for me, highlights a bit of like arthritis-y things in my right side wrist and my palm. The idea is to continue, eventually, best we can, to straight arms. And now I'm doing this, don't force your body, but I feel a lot of things happening in my right palm area. If you can manage it, especially if you're feeling a bit of pain, stay for a couple of breaths. And this kind of goes back into what I was saying earlier. Breath, of course, is automatic. We don't have to think about it, and our bodies are amazingly able to breathe. But if we're able to make use of our breath and breathe in a very deliberate, intentional fashion, something like this, for me at least, which causes a lot of pain, right, in my right palm, with the use of breath, I'm able to endure. Not to say that every single, pain, an ounce of pain should be endured, but for me, this is something that's like arthritis-y that is kind of worth enduring, right? All right, gently, let's unfold. Good. And then we'll uninterlace our fingers and switch it so our left wrist is over our right wrist. Interlace these fingers and scoop it in and out. And the interesting thing about this is that this side feels a lot easier. And I do feel my left palm also on this side but the extent to which I feel the pain or whatever, it is quite a bit muted on this side, meaning I can hang out here for kind of a long time and not feel a bunch. And it's interesting because in this position where I don't feel a bunch, where I can kind of just hang out for a good amount of time, it's easy to lose track of breath, right? Not that I'm not breathing, but that I'm no longer intentionally focused because I don't really need to, right? I'm not really experiencing a sensation that requires me to use my deep breathing to calm myself down. So, in some ways, these asymmetries, while they are frustrating, they offer us so much insight into maybe our habits, whether they are just like everyone does that type of thing, or whether it's our own very unique individual habits. And again, it's never to judge ourselves. It's never to be like, oh gosh, why can't we get this right type of thing. It's always to provide us with a bit of information, and hopefully, right, just like if I were on the other side right now, you can undo. We can make use of that, flick a couple times, and just hopefully be able to, when it's not super painful, still continue the practice of deep breath. So that when we need it, when we are experiencing some sort of pain or some situation where we need to endure, we're able to easily access that resource of deep breath because we've been practicing it under kind of more mild, temperate situations. Let's take these palms, right? We feel all the things, well, I do at least. Fingers face your knees, palms face down toward the ground. You can decide how much weight you want to put forward. I'm doing kind of this shoulders stacked over wrist sensation. Best you can, you continue to push your chest away from the floor. And if you can lengthen, straighten out your arms best you can, go ahead and do that as well. I feel like even, again, if you're not doing a lot of this pulling action type activities repetitively, much like climbing, you might be doing like grocery shopping or tennis or whatever it is where you might maintain a bent arm stance for a decent amount of time, which is fine. Just like sitting in front of the television or hunkering over our laptops is fine. But sometimes just to find that counterbalance, that movement, whatever it is, that does the opposite, does us a whole world of good. If you can afford to do so, you're leaning back a little bit. Maybe you feel a bit more stretch through the soft part of your elbows. And interestingly enough, for me in this position, I feel a bit of forearms, yes, but I feel like my left palm feels all the things relative to my right palm, which was just the opposite in that previous little scoop interlaced fingers exercise. So really, we can never judge. We can never say like, oh, our right side's always better, our left side's always better. There's always just a little bit of asymmetry, and again, it's just information for us to know. We'll take one more breath here. In through your nose. Let's always check in with our shoulders, kind of relaxed, chill. Exhale out through your nose. Very good. All right, gently from here, to come out of it, you shift your body weight forward, gently release. And then again, shake loose these arms, these palms, wherever you're feeling these sensations. And who knows, I've maybe pointed out a couple places that I feel all the things, but maybe you feel things in a completely different area. Maybe it's your shoulders or your chest or whatever it is. And all of that is very much valid. So our next bit, we'll do this on the floor. Palm facing out, soft part of your elbow facing out. You want to wrap it so that your arms are completely underneath your body. So if this is the floor, now all of your weight presses over your arms all the way down toward the floor. So you get even more of this range of motion, especially if your arms are sort of stuck in this bent angle. I'm gonna start to gently encourage it to straighten out. Now know that for some of us, this will feel like very benign. For some of us, again, especially if your arms are kind of in this bent arm position as your terminal straight, you might feel kind of not super comfortable. And again, that's totally fine. We're just practicing. You can spend a little bit of time on it and take your hands and your arms out from underneath and come back, take them out, you know, all that wonderful stuff. I'm gonna scoot this video down so you can see a little bit better. There we are. Okay, so there are a couple of entry points for this. You can roll to one side, slide your arm again, palm facing down, and think of this rotation, by the way, not just as palm down, but your whole arm, right? This whole shoulder rotated, right? There you go with a straight arm. Now, again, it's very easy for this arm to just want to bend and stay on the outside. You really want to get this entire arm underneath. It's not going to be very comfortable, right? So shift over and let's do the other arm as well. And your arms are so close that it feels like they might touch. So right now, with your arms underneath, bring your chin on the floor and just spend some time here. With our arms underneath, they're as straight as possible. With our hands underneath, our fingers are also, best we can, as straight as possible. So reinforcing our intention for those finger curls. We're reinforcing our stretch that we did earlier with palms facing down toward the floor, keeping our arms straight, simply by letting our body weight hang heavy over these arms, over these fingers. Let's spend just one more breath here. Remember, if this is too much, you can always take your arms out and slide them back in. We're going for overall endurance. The more time you can spend in any of these places, the more your body will start to familiarize itself with these different exercises, with these different positions. So again, with breath, we have this opportunity to experience and practice patience for ourselves, for our bodies. One more breath in through your nose. And exhale out through your nose. Good. From here to come out of it, I'm just gonna roll over to one side again. Free out this arm. Ooh. Roll over to the other side, free out the arm. And just release, relax. Take your left cheek to the floor so you look over to the right hand side. And then relax your shoulders down away from your ears. Here in this belly down position, the floor is helping us reinforce that very first neck stretch we did. If you feel like your left cheek is completely smushed, take an inhale, lift your head up off the floor, readjust so that your chin is more over your right shoulder, and gently lower it back down. Good. Let's take one more breath here in through your nose. Exhale out through your nose. One more breath in through your nose. Exhale out through your nose. Good, your next inhale, lift your head up off of the floor and go the other direction so your right cheek is on the floor. And again, after your initial placement, it might be the case that you're like, ooh, my cheek is super smashed. Take an inhale, lift yourself up, get your chin a little bit facing your left shoulder, and then let your right shoulder, or not right shoulder, right cheek melt against the floor. Again, reinforcing our neck stretch that we did earlier. This is a great way to use the floor as a prop. Make use of your full deep breaths. Allow your shoulders to soften.
So nice. Your next inhale, return your chin back to center. Use your hands on either side to push yourself up off of the floor. Now let's return to that kneeling down position that we did earlier. I'm gonna bring ourselves back up.
Good. And I know it's Monday morning, so I'm sure a lot of you have to do all the things. So we'll just finish right here with our hands on our lap or down by your sides. Take a moment, close down your eyes, relax your shoulders away from your ears. Take an inhale, breathe deep. Exhale, soften. Relax your shoulders down away from your ears. Do that again, full deep inhale. Long, slow exhale. Tuck your chin down in toward your chest. Inhale, let your head roll over to your right shoulder. Continue your head roll all the way back toward the back of your space. Head to your left shoulder. Chin toward your chest. And head toward your left shoulder, we reverse. Head toward the back of your space. Head to your right shoulder. Chin toward your chest. Next, inhale, lift your chin up, you're back into neutral, tall spine. Exhale it out. Last time, full deep inhale. Exhale it out. Good. Your next inhale, open your eyes. Thank you so much for joining me this morning. Have a great rest of your Monday. And actually, I really love just this nice short session just to start off our week. So that might be in the works. All right, I'll see you in about 30 minutes for some core things. It'll be 15 minutes quick. So hope you can join me. All right, see you soon.